Okay, so we decided to do a side trip. Guess where to? We're gonna go to Hanoi, which wasn't on the planned itinerary. But there's a couple of reasons we're gonna go. One, we haven't been there for a while, and the other one is my bag broke. My old Eagle Creek bag broke. It's never broken 15, 17 years, something like that. As long as I've had it anyway. But one of these little things that holds the strap, or if you use the main bag as a backpack, one of the straps goes through this and it broke. First thing that ever broke. Now, if this was in the States, I think they have a lifelong warranty, and so I'd be able to get it fixed, I think, for free. But I'm in Vietnam, and I know where there's a place in Hanoi that fixes Nat's jeans. Last time we were here, they put in a new a pressed button, metal button. So we're going to go see if we can find that place and see if they'll repair the strap on my backpack, or on my bag, really. It's not even a backpack, it converts to a backpack. And see what else is happening in Hanoi. So stay tuned. We're coming at you from Hanoi soon. Yikes, it's only 5:15 in the morning. I wasn't expecting this many people at the airport this early. Yikes, it's a long line. And our flight, we're okay on our flight though, because I think our flight's 6:55, it's only 5:20, so we should be good to go. But how do people wake up this early? The sun's not even up yet. More coffee. I need more coffee. Well, I was waiting in the cattle line there, and all of a sudden I looked up and I realized they had a line for a baggage drop-off, and I checked in online like yesterday, so I already had boarding passes and everything, so all we needed to do was drop off our bags, our checked bags. So we saved a lot of time not having to go through that line, so I suggest online check-in is a good thing, even at 5:30 in the morning. Guess what she's making me? She's making me an egg coffee. One of my favorite things in Vietnam, egg coffee. One day I'm gonna make this at home. I gotta buy a blender like this though. But actually what it is, if you saw my video before, coffee with egg. I think they put sweetened condensed milk and egg and whip it up, put in, oh, it's delicious. So, guess what showed up? My Egg coffee. Woohoo! Wow, look at this. Does this look good or what? Looks like a heart attack in a cup. But you gotta live dangerously every once in a while, right? One time I didn't stir it because it was so delicious on the top, the egg. And when I got down to the bottom, it was straight coffee. So now I make sure to stir them up real good. And of course they give you the hot water to put it in so it gets it warm. And let's see what we got here. Give it the taste test. Oh yeah, it's stirred up real good now. Okay, let's give it the taste test. Who does that remind you of? It's really good. The coffee is really strong. Vietnamese coffee is very strong. It's usually made with Robusta beans, so it's very strong. But they sweeten up that egg and whip it, and adds a really cool flavor and texture to it as well. Like breakfast in a cup. You got the egg, you got the coffee all in one cup. That would be like a to-go breakfast right there. Anyway, you can have an egg coffee, and then we'll see what else is happening. Well, I'm in Hanoi. I'm at a hotel that I stayed in before. Hotel Serenity 2. Hanoi Hotel Serenity 2. It is 7:30. I don't know if you can hear this. But this started at 7:15. I was walking to this at 7:15. Now we can go eat. We got a free breakfast. Comes with the deal. Not because of this. I called downstairs. Told them this is like unacceptable. I have no idea where this noise is coming from, but wow, 7:15 in the morning. Oh. Yeah, it subsided for a second. Now we got hammering. How would you like to be woken up to this? I'm speechless. Too early for this. Coffee time. Well, I've had my coffee, I've had my free breakfast, I've had my free wake up call. Now, this is the way I roll. If something's bad, I gotta tell you all about it. That's just the way it is. We've stayed at this hotel before and they were really great. This wake up call at 7:15 is not so good. But although I criticize what criticism is due, I also compliment where compliments are due. So guess what? I also, like I said, give compliments where compliments are due. We've been upgraded and moved. So, I told you I stayed at this hotel before and they were great, really accommodating, great. I wanted to give them a great reference last time I was here. Well, I'm going to give them one this time. Like I said, they moved us down 4 floors and put us in a bigger room. This is a family room. You're going to see we went from the micro room to a family room with a balcony. We got a single bed, double bed. We got a bathtub. Now, this is great. Again, this Hanoi Hotel Serenity 2 knows how to take care of customers. I can tell you that. All's good. So, I don't know if I'm going to go back to sleep yet or start our day. I think the coffee's kicked in. I think I got to start the day now. But 2 thumbs up for the hotel for taking care of the situation. Okay, so I told you when we got to Hanoi, one of the things I was coming for was to take care of my bag. Now this is an Eagle Creek switchback that's like 17 years old or something, and I still travel with it. Now I tried to get Eagle Creek to cough up the new version of this, and they didn't bite on my offer. So I thought I could do like a branding deal or something. But anyway, I ended up buying a new one, and one day I'll talk to you about the differences between the old one and the new one. I still travel with the old one for some reasons that I'll mention another time. But I told you that this little thing broke on the bag, and what this is if you don't know about this Eagle Creek switchback, it's got a day pack that zips off. You can carry it with the straps, you can roll it with the handle, or you can carry it as a backpack. And to do that, you just unzip this. This folds down to cover up the wheels so your clothes don't get dirty, and the straps come out. Well, this is what broke, one of these. And I went to hoist it on my back one day, and it just snapped. Now, Eagle Creek, I think, has lifetime warranties on these for repair, so if I'd been back in the States, I would have just sent it to them or something, but I'm not in the States. But in Hanoi, I know of a street where they make bags. So I took it to them to have it fixed, and as you can see, the strap's repaired. So they cut the strap off, take out the threads holding it together, put the new one on, did all sorts of stuff, put it back together and everything. Guess how much? Gotta love it. The equivalent of $1.50 US. Unbelievable. So anyway, I got my bag fixed. So that's one of the things I can check off of our list for coming to Hanoi. So there you go. Another thing accomplished at a great price. More life for less money. I'm always telling you this. So here's another example. Let's talk about some of the changes I've noticed in Hanoi in a very short period of time. One of the things is, check out this white line down here. This was never here before. One of my complaints about Hanoi is you couldn't walk down the sidewalks because the motorbikes always took up the whole sidewalk here. But now, check this out. All the way down, you can see some people broken the law, but you have a place to walk for the most part. And the police, I asked somebody about this because one of our favorite coffee places had tables and chairs out, and they said, can't do that anymore, we'll get fined if the police come by and we've got the tables and chairs out. Now, as you can see, some people don't adhere to this. In fact, if you look down here, they got some chairs and they've sort of blocked the thing. So I actually noticed the police come by and people pick up the chairs and tables and everything, and as soon as the police pass by, they put them back down. So this is Vietnam. Anyway, but this is an improvement. It's a step up, a step forward, and Thailand should do this. They should designate areas for walking and areas for parking or vendors or whatever. But one of the things lacking in Thailand as you walk around are places to walk on the sidewalks. They've taken up by everything but walking. You caught us on a travel day because we're actually going from Hanoi to Dalat. It's a cool morning here in Hanoi with nice breeze. It's actually very pleasant this morning. I'm imagining if it's cool here, it's going to be really cool in Dalat. I got to go grab a taxi to get us to the airport, so we're going to do that. And I got lots of stuff to share with you. When we arrived in Hanoi, I'll show you some video. It was really hazy. I mean, it made Chiang Mai, put Chiang Mai to shame. It was really hazy. We'll see as we head back to the airport this morning if it's still hazy, because when you're in the city, even in Chiang Mai, it's very difficult to tell when it's smoky and hazy. Except Chiang Mai, you can't see the mountain that you can always see from downtown. But anyway, we're going to grab a taxi, head to the airport, and take a flight to Dalat. I need you to go down here. Okay. All right, Master. Go to the airport. Thank you. Bye-bye. Did you turn the meter, right? The meter on? So as you can see, we've made it to the airport and we've actually checked in. Now we're using a number of different airlines. We flew over on Vietjet Air. We're going from Hanoi to Dalat on Jetstar Pacific, which is an Australian carrier. Not sure. But anyway, we're taking a number of different carriers. And so we're checked in. We had a couple things to do in Hanoi. I wanted to see Hanoi again. We only been there like one time and only for a few days. So I wanted to go back, and we have to fly. When you're flying around Vietnam, you have to sort of either come in to Hanoi or Saigon and then fly around from there. Not too many international airports except those two. So anyway, some things happen to us in life where I'm a firm believer that the only time you feel discomfort emotionally is when you want life to be other than it is. The third patriarch of China said the great way is easy for those who have no preferences, and I think you have to have preferences. but not be so stuck on those preferences that if you're not getting them met at the time, because there's a saying that says God's delays are not God's denials, that if things aren't happening the way that you expect them to, you start to feel uncomfortable. And if you can go with the flow, that's that flexibility I'm always talking about. It's really important. And you never know what's going to happen. You might be getting a better benefit than what you initially thought you would have. And the reason I brought that up is when we were booking the tickets for all this, I had initially come up with some tentative dates, and I booked my Hanoi accommodations. And then I changed the flights around once I started talking with Nat. And I ended up putting an extra day on staying in Hanoi, but I never changed the hotel booking for that extra day. So anyway, we got kicked out of the hotel for the last night. They said, okay, we're booked solid, but we'll find you a place to stay. So there was another place within walking distance, like 5 minutes walking, 10 minutes walking. And it's interesting because it was so close to where we stay, but it was a completely different area. Nat and I, we weren't real thrilled with Hanoi. There's not a lot to do around where we stay, and we don't want to take public transportation, go there. We stay in the old city. And so this was very cool because they put us in a hotel. It was there's restaurants and little shops and places to have a drink at night and everything around the neighborhood where we were in. It was so close to where we were before. So anyway, the point was that sometimes things happen for a reason or a benefit. And so even though I was unhappy we had to pack our bag and move for that last night, we found a whole new area of Hanoi. And I told Nat I wouldn't mind coming back, spending a little longer there, because it was very cool. It's around the old, I think it's called St. Joseph's Cathedral. Very cool little section. And St. Joseph's Cathedral was built by the French in 1886. So it's a neat little area of town in the old city. And so that was cool. Actually, something beneficial happened. Another thing I needed to do when I was in Hanoi, I have this Eagle Creek bag, and I've had it for 17 years, I think. I think the second time I came over to Thailand, I bought that bag. Because the first time I came with this big old rolling bag, you could have fit a double-wide trailer in the thing. And I realized I didn't need all that stuff. So the second time I came, I had this Eagle Creek bag. Anyway, so I got my bag fixed while I was here, which was very cool. And found a new place to hang out in Hanoi. So we're really happy about that. I'm going to talk about what I consider positive and negative differences between Vietnam and Thailand. So I'm going to talk about that, talk about a few changes I've noticed in both Thailand and Vietnam over the last couple of years. There's a number of differences and a number of similarities. It's a Southeast Asian country, and so the criteria wherever I chose to live, as opposed to just visit as a tourist, was people have to be friendly, the food has to be good, and I have to enjoy the cuisine, and it has to be good value for the US dollar. And so Thailand fit that criteria. When I chose to move a long time ago, Brazil was also on the list, but I'm glad I didn't move to Brazil because actually crime has increased and cost of living went out of control, inflation, stuff like that. Anyway, so I ended up in Thailand. But I'd never been to Vietnam until that trip last year. I think it was last year. And Nat and I came over. Now, the cool thing, as I've talked about before, that there's an exploding middle class in Thailand. That means everybody's buying a car even though they can't afford it. It's becoming more what Thais call high so. And high so means that the more people are becoming more high social because of social networking and TV all promotes consumerism. And consumerism wants people to feel a certain way by purchasing a consumer product. And that's how they get you sold on buying products. And so everybody's hooked up into that, and they're leveraging themselves with credit. So that's what's happening in Thailand. As you know, the king has passed, and I noticed some social changes happening in the country. Now, this is only around the cities, so I'm not generalizing about all of Thailand. You go to Isan, and people are still the same, great people. You go to some of the cities in the north where they're not inundated with tourism, it's still the same. It's great. And this is why we're still there. The food's good, and it's a great value. When you come over to Vietnam, a couple things that are irritants in Thailand aren't here, but there are irritants here that aren't in Thailand. In Thailand, the older people are more friendly than younger people as a whole. Here, they honk the horn out of habit, and that's sort of irritating. I guess after a while it become like white noise or something, and you wouldn't even pay attention to it. Those are the downsides. The upsides is there's no street dogs here. There's more, what I feel, security. People take their security jobs seriously here. And I'm talking about in a hotel, a parking lot, or anywhere. If they have a job, they do it. Where in Thailand, they're sort of afraid to say anything to you. The guys that are just low-income security guards, they won't say anything. So they're just sort of like figureheads. They just take up space. They don't really do a lot. Also, I noticed on the taxi ride over here to the airport, when the taxi hit a certain speed, which is like just at the speed limit or a little above it, there was an alarm that went off on the taxi. And so he backed back down. Where in Thailand, you'll be on the highway and the taxis will blow by you. These minivans will blow by you, going 50% over the limit of the speed. And it's very dangerous. So those are a couple of things I like. The no street dogs, and I feel more secure in certain areas. And it's a little more strict in some areas, which I think is good, but there's still a lot of flexibility. Those are some of the good things over here. The food's still good. It's a great value. Now, I mentioned before that I thought that drinking was more prevalent in Thailand, that everybody's drinking beer and whiskey. We're here, I see more people drinking coffee and tea sitting around. But somebody corrected me about that, and Vietnam has like the highest increase in the consumption of beer, and I think it was in Asia, if I'm not mistaken. But so they are drinkers here of alcohol and consume beer. One of the other benefits, the north of Thailand is still hot during the hot, dry, smoky season. The rest of the year, it's pleasant, it's okay, it's good. But here you also have the option of getting up to someplace like Dalat, or what's the name of the Sapa, the city above Hanoi? Sapa. There's a city north of Hanoi, but it's sort of a geared towards tourism and stuff. And hill tribes come out and try and sell you stuff. But it's also cool. It's way up in the mountains. In fact, I think they actually got almost snowfall there a couple of years ago or so. But it's very cool. So you have options at Dalat or Sapa to go get out of the heat here, and which is really cool. It's still inexpensive to fly around both countries. So getting away from the heat is another upside. As I showed, I think in the videos coming over, it's really hazy and smoky in Hanoi. We'll see what it's like in Dalat when we get there. But I guess you can't get away from that in either place. So there you go. Those are the changes I've noticed, and the differences. This came up in the rumors about me moving over here. Would Nat and I ever move over here? It's a plan B. If things change, if the culture changes, if things change a lot in Thailand, maybe this would be an option, but the kids are still in school in Thailand, so we're still planning on spending a lot of time there and being around the kids and stuff. So for right now, it's not a plan of somewhere to live, but I can see possibly if Nat can learn more of the Vietnamese language and we understand more of the great food that we could eat, the choices, and maybe start being able to read the signs and stuff, it'd be really cool to spend more time over here. In fact, I could see spending surely the hot, dry, smoky season here, which would be 2 months of the year. That would be sort of cool. In fact, this trip started out being how many days, Nat? 2 weeks, I think, and we increased it to almost a month. And so, because we thought about, once you get over here and you're only in one, and if we go to 2 towns plus flying into the capital, it was only going to be like 4 days, 3 or 4 days a piece in each city, and going, why are we going over? So we increased the length of the trip. But there you go. We'll continue this when we get to Dalat. Hey, JC here. If you like that video, make sure to give us a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel here. Also, we have another video up here you're going to be really interested in watching as well. And if you're looking for all the details of how to retire in Thailand in one place, plus a group of people to support you, check this out over here. Give it a click.